Would you say that Santeria is like our umbrella term paganism? I mean, that Santeria has many different branches or paths off of it?
It's a Santeria. It's a religion of its own. It's strictly evolved from the Yoruba Ifa people of Africa. Now, so then became Santeria. There's other religions where these Yoruba people were actually brought. For example, when they were also brought to Brazil. There in Brazil, their religion also merged with the Catholicism there. There's more Europeans down there, Italians actually. So then you have Candomblé. Candomblé is basically the form of Santeria, if you will, practiced in Brazil. And then also you have branches of people who, for example, we don't believe in sacrificing animals anymore. So they branched off from Candomblé and formed Umbara. And then, you know, you have other
and then you have darker aspects, which would be Palo, right?
Yes. Palo Mayobe, or Palo Congo, as it sometimes is called, is another African-based religion that tends to walk hand in hand with Santeria. Sometimes people confuse the two. And sometimes some houses work within the two, which is, I'll tell you a story about it here in a little bit after I kind of explain it. Palo Mayobe comes from the Congo region of Africa. Their people were more fierce than the Yoruba were more peaceful tribe. The Congo people, they practice things like cannibalism. They're very warrior, very kind of like the Zulu, you know.
Very aggressive.
Yeah, so their religion also kind of was brought over, formed its own, and it's called Palo Mayobe or Palo Congo, like I said.
Are there two different?
No, they just got different names. But within them, it's basically called the cult of the dead. They work strictly with spirits, rather than them worshiping in Orisha. They get these cauldrons called Nangangas, and what they do is they build somewhere a small city, if you will, where they house different spirits. Their tactics kind of don't agree on, but they also are beneficial. Within the Palo religion, there's Palo Judío and Palo, what do you call it? The Bautizado and the Na Bautizado. Yeah. Palo Judío is the ones that practice strictly dark and evil stuff, and then the Palo Bautizados are the ones that practice the beneficial good magic. So they use good spirits to carry out good workings or healings, rather than the ones that
control dark spirits and use them to cause chaos.
Exactly, and we've kind of, Ms. Lee and I had a chance to see that a while back, where I was kind of dealing with some people that dealt within that. But
I've seen a lot of things.
Yeah, within my personal understanding of it, anytime that you're entrapping a spirit to carry out workings that are not your own spirits, I feel that you're kind of holding them down. So I kind of don't agree with them. No disrespect to the Palo community. Like I said, there are some very beneficial spirits. For example, helping people heal, or the good spirits that they have in the Nanganga, sending out and taking out a dark one that's attached to a person, you know. Like I said, it's called the cult of the dead. They kind of walk hand in hand with Santeria, like I said, because they are both come from Africa around the same time. Some houses practice it together. Some houses forbid it, of course. A small story real quick. There was a guy who practiced Santeria, who was son of Shango. He kind of led away from the religion and started practicing Palo on its side. He then there came a time where he got really into it and became dark-minded and strictly was using the spirits in the Nanganga to do harm. And of course, you know, because they are just, Shango stepped in and said, if you believe that has more power than me, then
you're banished.
Yeah, so then the guy had all kinds of bad trouble, so he actually had to get rid of the Nanganga and seek forgiveness and appease Shango so that things return back to normal.
Suppose, and this is a question specifically for you, suppose somebody within a household mentions the name Santisima Muerta.
Mm-hmm.
what would ring through the head of all the other people in the house?
Oh yeah, dark magic. They'd be afraid, and her image itself is it's a very powerful image, and it kind of does send fear to a lot of people because she is a representation of death, like the European Reaper, if you will. So,
but she's not all about dark, though, isn't she? Also about birth.
Absolutely not.
About money.
She is within the brujeria Mexican people that practice Santisima Muerta, or the cult of Santisima Muerta. They call upon her to bring an end to their troubles so that they can start something new. So they're kind of like the tarot card of death. It's death and renewal. She's not all about harming people or causing death to family members.
Right. It's kind of like with us. I mean, death is a new beginning. It's just that which sets us on a new pathway.
Mm-hmm.
And so Santisima Muerta would be, and I hope I'm saying that right.
Yes.
Would be, I was pretty sure that I was, but I don't sit around talking about her a lot, but she does have the 7 colors down her veil, which are the representations of war, of money, of prosperity, love, birth, death, etc., correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Explain to me those colors, and I really do harp on the idea of her, because if anybody that is not within Santeria knows anything about Santeria, it's about Santisima Muerta.
Yes, Santisima Muerta. She is a Mesoamerican deity, indigenous to the people of Mexico. She's been
Wouldn't
around.
it be like Indian?
Yeah, Indian, Mesoamerican, like not Native American, but Mesoamerican. So yeah, Santisima Muerta has been around, since the time of our Indian ancestors, and her cult has survived through the years to modern day Mexico City, which is the birthplace or one of the biggest places where she is worshipped. She is another misunderstood deity, kind of like the Orishans of Santeria, where you have the drug dealers, the cartels that call upon her for protection to bail them so they can bring drugs across, and you have your dark witches that call upon her to cause death or destruction upon people, which it's not what she stands for at all.
But you also have the people that call on her for bringing money, or those that want to bring a good, easy birth, or whatever. But like with the Witchcraft Wicca religion, I mean, you have the negatives and you have the positive, and people that don't understand and are completely ignorant. And I say that as in the term of disknowledge, not as in saying anybody's stupid or anything. But people don't understand these cultures or these deities or what they actually mean, but they only reflect on the darker aspects of it, or what she's actually used for.
Right.
In the darker people that use her.
Right. Well, in her black veil, she is the representation of power. In her dark veil, not as the dark one. So if you ever see somebody that does have a Santisima Muerta in a strictly dark veil, she's the representation of power. So they're trying to maybe use her to help their business grow. So they're having her empower the business. In her red veil, of course, a lot of women and men, but mostly women, they call upon her for love, to either end this abusive relationship that they're in and bring forth another, consort to them, or just bring love within their lives. Like I said, ending that of it. She is very beneficial. She has been in my life in the past. Before I even got into Santeria, I was a worshiper of Santisima Muerta, and
I've called to her too.
Yes.
I mean, on many occasions, actually.
Yeah.
And then those that maybe, I mean, she would be the equivalent of our crone aspect of the goddess Diana. When we're embarking on the idea of death, we may call upon her for the power to get through these struggles that may take us there, or in reliance on the idea that we'll be coming back thereafter and following our path again and carrying on. Our spirit never dies. But
in the aspect that she is the keeper of the dead as well, I've called upon her to kind of clear out some mischievous human entities that were around my home, and of course, she came in and
always usable to get rid of bad spirits that she could gather up for you and take them where they need to be.
Exactly.
Or chain them down if they're demonic or whatever. You know, when you want to get into the spirit aspect of things, as in ghost and whatnot, things that people really just don't talk about a lot. You know, and that's something else that I'm going to be talking about on the videos is spirit and why we do have spirits when there is reincarnation or Summerland. I mean, and that's a question that's been put to me a lot lately, is how can these things coincide together? I mean, if there's Summerland or heaven or whatever, then how come there would be spirits walking the earth?